Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today we're going to be talking about the Houston Texans potentially trading for four-time Pro Bowler, two-time All-Pro Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons requested a trade from the Dallas Cowboys in a very long three-paragraph notes app, message today, requesting a trade. He absolutely blasted the Cowboys in this thing. I thought my favorite part of the whole thing was he's talking about how the Cowboys have the best fans. And I'm not arguing with that. I mean, I'm not saying they do have the best fans. That's not my problem. But he's saying a lot of good things about Cowboys fans and this and that. And he said how he wanted to make them America's team again. And I find that hilarious because everybody always thinks that they're still America's team. And I know it's a trademark that they have earned, right? They're not called America's team because they're winners. I feel like America's team should always be the team that is most dominant. As someone who hates the Chiefs, as someone who definitely disliked Tom Brady and the Patriots when they had their runs, America's team to me would be the Kansas City Chiefs or the New England Patriots. As bad as those two teams have heartbroken me as a Texans fan with the playoff losses, those two teams are more qualified as America's team than the Dallas Cowboys. But for him to say that, make them America's team again, which is insinuating that they're not America's team right now, is really funny. I'm sure Cowboys fans definitely didn't like that one, or the Cowboys organization. But I think that it definitely doesn't look good. I think one of the things that made the Cowboys look the worst is how he's really pissed about how they're trying to talk to him about contract extension without his agent present in that situation. How he shared about how him and Jerry Jones had a planned meeting about leadership, and Jerry turned it into contract extension talk. I think that's very unprofessional by Jerry Jones, in my opinion. But for the Houston Texans, could Micah Parsons be a trade target? I would love Micah on this team. I ultimately always think about Micah going to the Texans because of the fact that C.J. Stroud and him have a close relationship. I think the funny thing is what I always call C.J. Stroud and Micah Parsons. I call C.J. Stroud and Micah Parsons the newer, younger football version of Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. Like, if you ever watch those two guys, there's CJ and Micah, they're always messing with each other and taking, just funny shots at each other, Charles Barkley and Shaq do. And so I think they're like the younger football version of Shaq and Chuck. But I think they've got a great relationship, though. Even though they do mess with each other a lot, I think they've got a great relationship. The other great thing for Micah in this potential trade would be he's not going far, and I think he wants to win. Think about this. Micah Parsons is going to want to go to a win. If he gets traded, he's going to want to go to a winning team, right? He wants to go to a winning team where the best place for him to win a Super Bowl, if I had to guess. I don't think the Cowboys are going to want to send him to a team that has a chance to, be a Super Bowl, because that's ultimately a team that's a threat to the Cowboys. Look at the top threats in the NFC. I think two of the top threats in the NFC are two divisional rivals. I think the Commanders and the Eagles are two of the best teams in the NFC. I don't think the Cowboys are going to deal with Mike. I don't think they're going to deal with them and have to face Micah twice a season. Or throw out the 49ers. They're a team I think is, I really like in the NFC. I don't think you're going to deal with a rival like the 49ers, or deal with a rival like the Packers, or I think I think if they trade Parsons away, I think they're going to want to send him to the AFC. And sure, there are other contenders outside of the Texans, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens. Sure, all those teams. I don't think the Chiefs would want to pay that price for Micah Parsons. The Bills or Ravens might, but I don't know. I think the Raiders could be a solid fit for him. That's not more of a championship contender type team, but it sure be interesting where Micah would end up. This year, 13 games, even though he had 12 sacks, which is the lowest amount of his career, but he only played 13 games. Imagine if he played all 17. Like he played 17 in 2023, had 14 sacks, and then this year had 12 in 13 games. I imagine he would have had the most sacks in a season, as his high is 14. I predict if he plays all 17, an extra 4 games, Micah definitely gets over 2 sacks, 2.5, 3 sacks in 4 games, if not more than that. But he had a good season, even though he had some injuries. That's one thing he's pissed about too. Him getting, them bringing up injuries for him. And I think that is stupid to bring up, because let's not act like this is a really injury-prone guy. Before he missed 4 games this season, Micah in his first 3 seasons of his career only missed 1 game. He played every single game in 22 and 23 and only missed 1 game in his rookie year. So this guy has only missed 5 games in his 4-year career. So I get if Micah's frustrated because injuries are being brought up in contract discussions or other things. So, but I'd love to see the Texans bring him in, but I think it's a heavy price, because I think the Cowboys are going to look at what the Chicago Bears paid for Khalil Mack in 2017 or 2018. They're going to look at what the Bears paid for Mack in 2018. What was that? It was 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick going to the Raiders. Khalil Mack, a second-round pick, and a fifth-round pick went to the Bears. So, yes, Mack did go with a second and a fifth for 2 firsts and a third. But, I think that the Cowboys are at least going to want 2 firsts for Micah. Do they get that? I don't know. But, he's obviously young and in the prime of his career, so that might be worth it. Let me know your thoughts on the potential trade for the Texans in the comment section. As honestly, this would just make their defense elite. Their defense is really good. I think it's elite right now. But I think Micah Parsons what it would just do is just make their defense the best in the NFL. And I don't think that what the offense is doesn't matter if you've got Micah Parsons, Danielle Hunter, Will Anderson coming after the opposing quarterback every week, and then you've got Derek Stingley, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Jalen Petrie, Kamari Lassiter, and Kalen Bullock in the backfield facing the wide receivers. That is the most dangerous, 100% the most dangerous defense in the NFL if the Texans trade for Micah Parsons. Now, we could get into the discussion of maybe the Texans would maybe have to give up Danielle Hunter in a trade. I don't know, but I would think not. But I think it'd probably be 2 first-round picks for Micah. But we will see. Let me know your thoughts on the potential trade for the Texans in the comment section, and peace out.